Should you invest or pay off your HECS debt first? Today I'll be discussing this important question. First of all, what is a HECS, or now it's called HELP debt? Basically, it is the Australian government paying for tertiary education, allowing people to be able to pay it off in the future. So it is a very great system that allows Australians, even from lower socioeconomic backgrounds, to be able to attend university, attain higher qualifications, which can help them in their future employment and contribute to the workforce as well. Unlike America, where student loans have an exorbitant interest rate, in Australia, the HECS HELP debt is indexed to inflation, or CPI. Basically, the rate in the last couple of years has been quite low at about 1.7, 1.8%, and even for 2021 was actually 0.6%. So basically, not a huge incentive to pay off your HECS debt first. According to the ATO, 3 million Australians have a HECS HELP debt, and the average time to repay it is about 9 years. Now, 9 years is a long time, and if you had invested in the share market, in cryptocurrency, in the property market 9-10 years ago, your return on the money would be very, very high, at least double in most instances. So I guess you have to weigh up the opportunity costs of paying up the HECS HELP debt first. So basically, what would be the case for paying off a HECS HELP debt first? Now, for some people, having debt or any debt doesn't sit well with them. So I guess there may be a psychological reason, wanting to extinguish all debts before taking the leap to invest. And I guess that's understandable. Another circumstance would be if someone has lots and lots of cash, lots and lots of equity, however their borrowing power for loans is impacted from a HECS HELP debt, and that last remainder of servicing they need to pay off the HECS debt to be able to borrow more. I guess this would be not as common scenario, but could be one nonetheless where it may make sense to pay off HECS HELP debt first. However, I'm of the opinion that investing first is better, and now I'll outline the case for why you should invest first before paying off any HECS HELP debt. So basically, as I mentioned earlier, with the interest rate for the HECS debt being so low, your money is probably better off investing in assets that grow in value, appreciate, and also give some cash flow as well, such as property, such as index funds, such as individual shares, and also contributing money into your super may also be wise as well. So I guess the traditional thinking and what parents taught us might have been, all debt is bad, you should pay it off as soon as possible, as soon as you can. This may stem from the older beliefs back when interest rates were up to 17, 18%. However, now we're in a low interest rate environment. And true, the media is talking about how interest rates may have the potential in the next couple of years to go back up. But I personally can't see how interest rates can go back up to that, like 10, 17%, that sort of level. And basically with the COVID environment and the government, huge amounts of stimulus, essentially printing money, basically cash is becoming worth less and less, and therefore assets are going up and up, basically across the board, from collectibles, from shares with historically high PE ratios, property markets, as you know, in the last 12 months in Australia, Different markets have done different things, but a lot of markets in Australia have gone up anywhere from 20 to 30%, which is quite insane if you think about it. So, mortgage rates are also quite low currently, 2 to 3%, depending on fixed variable rates, interest only, or principal interest as well. So definitely, if you had invested in property in the last 12 months, and you say you put a 10% deposit on a property, and then the property goes up 20%, your cash on cash return could be like 100%, at least, doubling, even tripling your money. Whilst if you had paid down your HECS debt, you would have saved yourself, 0.6% interest. So definitely, obviously past performance is not a predictor of future performance, but just something to bear in mind. Obviously, this is general advice. I don't know your unique circumstances, so definitely seek some professional advice. But definitely, I want you to consider the opportunity costs of your funds and how you can get the best return. Definitely, if you were looking to invest, I would say it's very important to get your financial health in order. Kind of going through your expenses. What can you cut out? Do you need so many subscriptions to streaming services, takeaway? Do you need to go on that many holidays, etc.? Very important to have an emergency buffer. Anywhere from 3 to 12 months of living expenses. I guess 12 months if you want to be more conservative. And also having a buffer for example, investment property that you are looking to purchase. A good rule of thumb is about 1% of the property's value. Obviously, this may be higher if it's an older property rather than newer property. Having your own buffers and also a buffer for the individual investment properties is quite important. I guess when making this video, I had the thought as well, is HECS debt good debt or is it bad debt? I guess Robert Kiyosaki talks about how good debt goes up in value. The asset is tied to an asset and also pays cash flow. While on the other hand, bad debt is consumption debt that once you consume it, you're just left with the debt. There's no kind of intrinsic asset tied to it. For example, a personal loan going for a holiday. Once you've had the holiday, you've got the good experiences, but then there's no asset and you're left with the debt that you have to pay for. I guess with the HECS HELP debt, if it is allowing you to get an education which enables you to get an income, kind of investing yourself, perhaps you could argue it is a good debt. But leave a comment below. What do you think? Do you think that a HECS debt is a good debt or bad debt, and why or why not? I'll be interested to hear what you think. I guess on the topic of good and bad debt, HECS debt has one of the lower interest rates, as I talked about, indexed to inflation, while credit cards, up to 20%, personal loans from 9 to 16%. If you had HECS debt and those personal loan credit card debt, obviously mathematically makes more sense to pay down those with a high interest rate first. So I guess in summary today, answering, should you invest or should you pay off HECS debt first? A few things to consider. I'm of the belief that at the moment, there's a better use of your money investing first. And also, as your income goes up, especially if you're doctors, healthcare professionals, you have to pay off the HECS debt anyway. The minimum repayment threshold at time of making this video is about 47,000. 47 to 52,000. I think you have to pay about 1% of your income, and then if you're earning over 138,000, you have to pay back the highest repayment rate of about 10% of your income. So, obviously we have to pay it back anyway, and the government wants us to pay it back. But I guess, yeah, there's opportunity costs of your funds today. I hope that helps. Any questions, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.